Hello everyone, very warm welcome to ITLS Academy. The topic of today's lecture is early development. We will see how an organism forms. Although our main focus will be on mouse development, still we will see how human embryo develop and forms an adult. As we know that most of the stages from the fertilization till the formation of an embryo are same in both humans and mice. So we will first understand with the help of human developmental process, and then we will see how the development occurs in mice. So let's start our lecture. Early development. First point is, how does a single cell, that is, the fertilized egg, give rise to a complex multicellular organism? How it is possible? Because this is a single cell. How an adult organisms how an adult organism forms by this single cell. The question reflects one of the greatest mysteries of life and represents a fundamental challenge in developmental biology. Next point, knowledge about the processes by which a fertilized egg generates all the specialized tissues and organs of a mature organism is far from complete. Little is known about the specific genes that regulate these early events, or how interactions among cells, or how cellular interactions with other factors in the three-dimensional environment of the early embryo affects development. Next point is, the processes by which a fertilized egg becomes an embryo is called embryogenesis. What is fertilized egg? This is an egg and this is sperm. After the fusion of these two, there is formation of a structure that is known as fertilized egg or zygote. Zygote is another name for fertilized egg. Here a lot of cleavage divisions occur in this embryo. After many cleavages, there is formation of a mass of cell, and this mass of cell further grows in an embryo. This embryo, the the steps between from the formation of zygote till the formation of embryo, the steps between this process is known as embryogenesis. This embryogenesis includes coordinated cell division, cell specialization, cell migration, and genetically programmed cell death. In this diagram, all the processes from the formation of zygote to the formation of embryo to the formation of blastula is shown very beautifully. You can easily understand each step is very clear in this diagram. So let us understand. This is our fertilized egg, or we can also call it as zygote. This zygote is formed after the fusion of egg and sperm. This zygote goes its first cleavage and it forms two-celled stage. These two cell stages undergo further cleavage and forms four cell stages, and these cleavage divisions goes on until this is a 16 cell stage. This 16 cell stage when divides, it forms a stage that is known as morula. Morula is a stage formed after the 16-celled stage of the zygote. This morula further develops into the blastula. This is cross section of blastula is shown. Actually, this blastula looks something like this. This is outer trophoblast layer and this is inner cell mass. This is the structure of blastula. Here the cross section of blastula is shown. This blastula further develops into germ layers. Three germ layers are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Let us see this step in detail. This blastula have the ability to form all the three germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Here you can see ectoderm is the outer layer of cells, while the endoderm is the inner layer of cells. Where does mesoderm exist? Mesoderm is this middle part. This middle layer is known as mesoderm. This is two-layered gastrula. This two-layered gastrula, here I forgot to mention that after morula there is formation of blastula, and this blastula further goes to differentiation and forms gastrula. Here shown gastrula is two-layered and further it is three-layered gastrula. Three-layered gastrula has a blastopore and a blastocele. This blastula have blastocele cavity, while the gastrula has archenteron cavity. The gastrula having archenteron cavity is known as three-layered gastrula. Experimental systems used to understand embryogenesis. First step, many kinds of experimental systems have been used to understand how a fertilized egg produces a blastocyst. The vast majority of studies on embryogenesis in mammals has been conducted in mice, as we know that it is not very easy to use humans for each experiment, so there is a use of mice on a broad scale. For obvious ethical reasons, detailed research on human embryo has been limited, but the study of embryogenesis in all of these systems yields as many questions as answers. Next point, much of the information about human embryonic development comes from studies of embryogenesis in the mouse. Most of the researchers use mouse for their detailed study. Although the development in mouse is same as humans in many respects, but development in mice also differs in several important respects from human development. For example, embryonic and fetal development in mice takes 18 to 20 days. In humans, the process takes 9 months. The placenta forms and functions differently in the two species. In humans, an embryonic disc develops after the embryo implants in the uterine wall, whereas in mice, an egg cylinder forms. The yolk sac of a mouse embryo persists and functions throughout the gestation, while in case of humans, the yolk sac functions only in early embryogenesis. Coming to the next point, sources of information about human development include studies of human embryonal carcinomas, that is EC cells, maintained in vitro, and of histological sections of human embryos. Study of methods to improve pregnancy rates following in vitro fertilization has yielded important information about early human embryogenesis. A fertilized egg forms a blastocyst. As we have seen in an earlier diagram that a egg and sperm fuse to form the zygote, and this zygote further develops in the blastocyst. So let us see how this happens. First point, prior to fertilization in humans and mice, the egg, that is oocyte, enlarges, divides by meiosis, and matures in its ovarian follicle until it reaches a stage of meiotic divisions called metaphase 2. Next point is, for fertilization to occur, a haploid sperm cell must bind to and penetrate the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is a layer that is present outside the egg. Uh, in the mature oocyte, a haploid cell that contains half the normal number of chromosomes, that is egg, this have half the number of chromosomes, that is, it have only 23 chromosomes and is surrounded by a protective coat of non-cellular material. This placenta is non-cellular in nature. This placenta is non-cellular, so it is made up of extracellular matrix and glycoproteins, and it is known as zona pellucida. And this zona pellucida is degraded by the sperm that penetrates the egg. So after the process of fertilization, or we can say that during the process of fertilization, the sperm fuse with the cell membrane of the oocyte. Oocyte is the name of egg. Then sperm enters the oocyte cytoplasm and fuse its pronucleus with the oocyte pronucleus. Pronucleus is the nucleus that is present in the sperm, and a pronucleus of egg. These both fuses to form the zygote. Next point, fusion of the sperm and egg pronuclei restores the number of chromosomes that is typical of a given species. As we know that humans have 23 set of chromosomes, that is, they have 46 chromosomes total. While if we talk about the egg and sperm, this have 23 and this have 23 chromosomes. These are gametes and these both have haploid set of content of chromosomes. While after the fusion, when both of these nuclei fuse and forms zygote, then there is a restoration of chromosomal number, that is 46. This chromosome number here becomes 23 plus 23. It becomes 46 total. That's why there is a restoration of the chromosome numbers. In humans, the normal diploid number of chromosomes for all the cells of body is 46. This is not limited for any particular kind of cells. This number is for all the kind of cells. Here you can see the cycle for the division of cells is given. How the cells divide. As we know that for the division, there are two type of division available, that is mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is a process that happens in the somatic cells, while meiosis is the process that happens in the zygotic cells. The stages of the division of any cell are G1, G2, S and M. This is G1, that is gap 1, S, that is synthesis phase, and this is G2 or gap 2 phase. Final is mitosis. Mitosis is the main step in which the division of a cell occurs, that is the step of karyokinesis. Some checkpoints are present in the cell cycle that holds the cell cycle in any particular stage whenever there is any difficulty in division or there is any damage. These checkpoints are present on progression from M to G, that is G1 checkpoint. This is present on the S, This checkpoint present in transition from S to G2 phase, and this is present in G2 to M phase. Mitosis also have some phases. These are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, and finally the division of cell occur. Gap 1 and gap 2 phases are for the checking that is cell is ready to go in the division process, while the S phase is the phase in which replication of DNA occurs. DNA divides in S phase. That's why it is also known as a synthesis phase, because DNA replicates here, and after replication, as we know, there will be two copies of the DNA. That's why it is known as synthesis phase. Although DNA content doubles here, still the number of chromosomes remains same. The number of chromosomes does not change. So let us see some points about the fertilization. Under normal conditions, fertilization of the human oocyte, that is a human egg, occurs in the oviduct near the ovary. Next point, human egg is many times larger than a sperm cell. As we know that sperm is very small in size while egg is a large sized, which means the oocyte contributes most of the cytoplasm of the zygote. Whenever there is formation of a zygote, then most of the cytoplasm will come from this egg. This zygote is another name for the fertilized egg. As a result, any maternal gene products in the zygote cytoplasm influence its first few divisions called cleavage. Within several days and after several cleavages, the genome, that is all the DNA or the hereditary informations in the cell's chromosomes of the zygote, becomes activated and controls subsequent embryonic development. Next point, during these initial cleavages, cleavage is a type of a division, but in the case of zygote, it is known as cleavage. It is not called as divisions. The resulting daughter cells that form after the cleavage do not increase in size. If this is a zygote, there is cleavage. So whenever that the cells that are forming after the cleavage does not increase in size, the size remains the same. If this is the size of zygote, then the size of zygote will remain same, although the number of cells will continuously increase. Rather, as early cell division proceeds, the amount of cytoplasm of each daughter cell is reduced by half. Here you can see that whenever this cell divide, the cytoplasm of this cell will reduce because it will divide in two parts, and the total volume of the early embryo remains unchanged. You can see here, although this one cell is divided in two cells, let me change the color. This single cell is divided in two cells, but still you can see the volume of one cell is same. The size does not increase, size is still same. That is what is told here, that the volume of early embryo remains unchanged. It applies on each cell, that cell will, although cell will divide, but still the number of cell increases, but the volume of the embryo, volume of this zygote remains same. As you can see, the number of cells is increasing, but the overall volume is still same from that of the fertilized egg. Here in this picture, the process of fertilization is shown very beautifully. You can see here, this is the outer layer that is known as zona pellucida. Let me change the color. This is the zona pellucida layer that is present for protection of the egg. The first polar body, second polar body, these are the polar bodies that forms during the cleavage of an egg. When this is the formation of egg occurs, then during the formation of egg, these polar bodies are produced. Some cortical granules are also present that are mainly responsible for the nutrition of the egg. This is the pre-vitelline space. After crossing this layer, the egg will be able to fuse with the sperm. These are cortical reactions. You can see here, these are cortical granule cavity burst here. These are spermatozoa, that is sperm. For the process of fertilization, you can see here in the first step, sperm comes near to the egg. In the second step, it comes and it touches with the zona pellucida. After the touch with the zona pellucida, you can see here there are something extracted in this particular portion. What is this? These are some chemicals that are released by the sperm to dissolve this zona pellucida layer. As this is very hard layer, one cannot break this layer, but these sperm has some chemicals that have the ability to dissolve this layer. So when these sperms comes with the contact with the zona pellucida, these start releasing this chemical, and just because of these chemicals, in the next step you can see here, this sperm is able to penetrate the zona pellucida layer. Here you can see the egg has reached to the pre-vitelline space, and further there is fusion occurs. After the fusion of the sperm and the egg, there will be formation of zygote, and this zygote will further differentiate and will form an adult. So this is all about the fertilization. So thank you very much guys for watching this session. The remaining things, that is after the fertilization, implantation, gastrulation, we will study in our next lecture. Uh, uh, till You can follow ITLS Academy on Instagram, Facebook and various other social media platforms. Subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you very much everyone. Thank you very much for watching this session.